Today's question from the comments comes from a viewer who asks, I haven't filed taxes in 7 years. The IRS filed returns for some of them, and now I owe almost 100K. Should I file my own taxes now or go for a payment plan instead? Listen, here's the straight answer. Why would you let the people you owe money to get to decide how much money you owe? You don't let the debt collector decide how much money you owe them. You shouldn't do that with the IRS either. When you file a tax return, you're telling the IRS how much money you made for the year and how much you owe in taxes. When the IRS files a return for you, they aren't doing you a favor. They're protecting the government's ability to collect from you. If there's no tax return filed, they can't collect. Bottom line, you should file your own tax returns right now. Don't just jump straight into a payment plan, and here's why. When you didn't file, the IRS filed for you. This process is called a substitute for return, or SFR. But here's the catch. An SFR is intentionally bare bones. The IRS looks at your income from the W-2s and 1099s that they have on file, but they leave out every single deduction, credit, and business expense that you actually might be entitled to. They calculate the tax as if you are single with zero exemptions, and that's why your debt looks so high. It's a worst-case scenario calculation. It's intentionally bare bones. So if the IRS says that you owe 100 grand based on the SFR, that number is almost always overinflated compared to what you'd owe if you filed your own return. Reasons to file your own tax return include reducing the debt, first and foremost. When you file your actual return, you can claim deductions, expenses, and credits that the IRS ignored when they did the SFR. That alone will probably cut your tax balance big time. Second, you actually stop the failure to file penalty. This penalty is brutal. It's going to be up to 25% of the tax owed. Filing your own return shuts that penalty off. Third, refunds have an expiration date. You generally only have 3 years from the original due date to claim a refund. If you miss that window, the government keeps your refund forever. Fourth, the collections clock doesn't actually start until you file. The IRS has 10 years to collect tax debt, but that clock doesn't even start until a real tax return is filed. The SFR doesn't count. Fifth, an SFR is literally a red flag for non-compliance. It screams to the world that you refuse to comply with your tax obligations, which could potentially have legal implications down the road. Listen, these problems have a way of getting worse over time if they're left unresolved. So take action today. Once the true numbers are filed, we can look at penalty abatement or payment plan, or maybe even a settlement, something that you can actually afford. If you need help, you can find my book, InTheTaxNightmare.com, or reach out to me at 1-877-LEVY-KING.
1-877-LEVY